Melissa, a lot of people moving in and out of the state, a lot of stuff going on, and people are closing kind of remotely. So they're having the attorneys close for them. We've had people purchase homes without even seeing them, sight unseen through virtual tours. I want to give people an idea of how they can actually close in a state like Rhode Island without actually being at the closing.
Certainly for a cash buyer, there's really no inhibitions whatsoever. We can structure a mail away closing where you meet with a local notary wherever you are, and we either email you the documents or overnight the originals via FedEx, UPS, that kind of thing. And then you send them back. That's probably one of the most antiquated ways to do it, right? Because it's the oldest way that we've done it. The other way is remote notarization. So this is something that we're still utilizing under the executive order, at least within the state of Rhode Island. There's no permanent legislation at this point. So it's during times of COVID that will allow for a remote notarization. So what it looks like is something kind of similar to this, Emilio. I would email client documents.
Yep.
They have to be able in Rhode Island to print originals and be able to wet sign them. So we're still doing, I've actually heard people coin the phrase RIN, remote ink notarization.
Sure.
So they have a set of documents in person. I have the same set of documents, remotely on my computer. And then we interface through a platform, which is video based. It's a video conference.
Okay.
I actually record that video wherein I'm explaining the documents and, more importantly, taking their remote notarization over the computer, acknowledging that they're signing these documents remotely, freely and voluntarily. Nobody's forcing them to sign it. So what it's done is it's allowed for the in-person notarization that we're accustomed to doing to be done through a remote platform. As long as it's recorded and we keep that information for 10 years, that's what the state's mandating at this point. So kind of cool. If you have a buyer with financing, there are some limitations of doing the remote online notarization or the digital signing. Reason being because of the lender. So now we have to add in the overlay of what the lender is going to allow or permit or not relative to the way the signing moves forward. So a lot of our lenders have told us they're just not there yet. They're not allowing remote notarization of documents. They are still requiring old-fashioned in-person. So if that's the case, you have a buyer who's out in California, they haven't come in for viewing the units or the property. They don't want to, they can't get here. What a lot of times we would do in that case is offer an power of attorney alternative. And a lot of the lenders have relaxed the guidelines where instead of appointing a third party like a family member, friend, hiring an attorney or even an agent, they'll let us as the closing attorney serve as the power of attorney, which is a big deviation than what we used to do because there was always this sort of separation of powers. Closing attorney was the closing attorney. The power of attorney had to be a different attorney for a lot of lenders. We're seeing where the lenders are saying under COVID, due to this, extreme circumstances, we will allow for the closing attorney to sign for the buyer. And of course, I'm still going to schedule a conference, go through all the documents and still get authorization and approval to sign under the power if that was going to become necessary and is the best we can offer for the lender. Because again, with those lender platform restrictions, we may not be able to do the remote notarization. Frankly, we don't see the buyers using remote signing very frequently. I think for the most part, even if they've never seen the unit, they're coming in to buy the property, they want to do a walkthrough, they need to be here in person because they're in the process of moving. I see it more frequently on the seller side, to be honest with you, and that is a matter of routine. We do that very regularly, whether we do the remote notarization that I had suggested, or which is dependent on which state they're in, if we can do it. Or the other alternative would be we just mail them the package or email them the package. They print the document, sign them with a notary, and get the originals to us. So that's, again, tried and true. We deal with clients out of the country, clients out of the state. So it's very easy to get your documents executed. It just takes a little bit of planning and preparation.